What's going on YouTube and y'all squad? This is your boy Yappertees. This is your review for Belle Collective Season 2. This is the finale. I forget which episode it is, but it'll be in the title. So yeah, I mean this was alright. It appears that they wrap some stuff up. I still feel like not so much, but we're gonna go through it, we're gonna make it do what it do when I get to certain people and their scenes is gonna be a disclaimer. So, but anyway, we pick up where we left off. We still are at Marie's celebrate, and IKEA. So Tamara is leaving. IKEA addresses the group and says that we need to protect this sisterhood. Tamara is upset, but she's also a part of this sisterhood. And IKEA even says to us that she may have her issues with Tamara, but this is a group that she was brought into, so this is the group that she's familiar with. So regardless of whatever is going on, you have to protect this sisterhood. And I'm like, I can agree with that, and I see that. But there's also, well, no, she didn't say this yet. And then I believe she addressed Taisha and just said to her, like, if you want to talk to Tamara, then you talk to Tamara. Meaning, if you want to have that one-on-one, let it be a one-on-one. Don't let it be in front of the group. And Tasha was saying that she was invited to this event and didn't know that Tamara was going to be here. That's perfectly fine. And even with Tamara leaving, you could have just let Tamara left, but you decided to be like, to pretty much egg her on, like, you don't want to talk, but you could talk to everybody else, so it comes off like you came in with the intent to attack this woman or have a scene. I could be wrong. Nevertheless, IKEA leaves, and I think part of her leaving is, with the playback, because her and Tamara have been the friends the longest. But of course, in watching that scene back, it can make somebody feel a type of way. So in essence, it's one of those like, well, I said my piece. Let me leave before more is said, because you know how it goes where when certain stuff is being said and people find out, especially if you have a close relationship with them. Also, you just said that while they said this, that, third, you ain't defend me or try to shut the ish down or whatever. It's one of those. So as much grief as I give IKEA, I can appreciate her leaving. So Marie asks if Greedy, mess with, both of them, at some point. And Taisha's like, yeah. So, and she even said that she wished Tamara would have stayed so they could have cleared up the timeline. But again, this is a conversation that does not have to be had in front of a group. And I wish somebody would have told her that, other than IKEA, where you've had ample amount of time to have this convo. And Letitia had even said that I didn't even know she was going to be here. And had I known, I would have said to you, Marie, like, you probably don't want to do that. And Marie is making a joke like, so we got to sit here and cross-reference guest list now? To an extent. But I'm going to say this, though. I don't know. I just can't believe that somebody didn't inquire who was going to be there. Y'all know us as African Americans. One of the questions we're gonna ask: who all gonna be there? Who all invited? I'm shocked that question wasn't asked, but nevertheless, and then Taisha offers up that at some point, I guess when Tambra and Greedy were messing around, that she was engaged, and maybe she's trying to fashion this so Greedy can look like the bad guy. See again. So now you just throwing stuff out there, and it's stuff like this. Like, okay, so it's being thrown out there, but this is the season finale. So again, it's a loose end that unless they have Taisha at the reunion, I mean, we're never going to get any. I don't know. Anyway, Taisha then ends up leaving, and then as what the mess says, Marie ruined another event. I hollered. That was funny because they're friends. It was cute. She can say that and get away with it. So we get Latrice and her brother Derek. So they're at his house. She's been staying with him for a week. She says as long as she's ever been away, well, her and Cliff have been away from each other is like 24 hours. they're currently having, marital problems, which is why she's been staying with her brother. They talk about her having a baby and, pretty much them having to be equals in their relationship, which is the most important thing, where there need not be a power struggle or an imbalance. So we have the stakeholders luncheon. This is our IKEA's event. She lets us know that she cannot find Letitia's menu card. She was like, and look how God work. I'm like, mm-hmm. So we just go through a Lord in this. All right. Marie says to us, IKEA abruptly left her event, but she will show how boss women handle issues. And I looked at her like, nah, I know you lying. Coming from the same woman that twice then showed your whole ass, pulled the whole Rafiki at Letitia's brunch, the first one where you accused Latrice of having bad quality, weave slash wigs. And then this last one where you couldn't even stomach to, be in the room with her. And in essence caused a scene while leaving. You want to show her how boss woman girl, if you don't sit down somewhere, Marie. IKEA shows a presentation where all the ladies who RSVP, like just a general idea of where their businesses could be located on Ferris Street. And for some of them, it probably wouldn't even be their main headquarters. It will be, almost like a franchise of the main thing, which is cute. Um, I'ma just say it. I think the quality of the presentation could have been a little bit better. And again, this is not me. I'm not trying to be shady at all. I'm just saying, because they have programs to where you can really have more realistic looking, stuff. But I mean, it was something nice of what it was. But the presentation was nice, and it seemed like a lot of people were interested. And yeah, it seems pretty cute. Let's see. So Marie, Letitia, and Tamra talk. Marie says she didn't know there was still beef between Taisha and Tamra. Tamra says she and Taisha ain't spoke in 5 years, and says it's the lies when it comes to, Taisha. And Marie apologizes. I'm pretty sure that's all that we got. Yeah, that's all that we got there. So now we get Marie, Essie, and Letitia. And Marie is going to look for her mother, and she is going to a neighborhood which she grew up in that, back then when, her grandparents had their respective properties, it was, in good condition and whatnot, and now not so much. And I mean, that's one of those where we can say that about a lot of neighborhoods. Like, I'm back in, the neighborhood in which I grew up in, actually back in the building that I grew up in. And is it the same as it was years ago? No. There's a lot of things that needs to be done with the upkeep and whatnot. But in surrounding neighborhoods where, because again, I grew up here, I can see how, things are, falling, diminishing, and not, looking too hot. And hey, it is what it is. Nevertheless, she's looking for her mom, and she's bold. She's going up to, it appeared to be random people, but I think she might have known some of the people. And, Essie had even said, like, she's kind of scared. Like, you don't know if somebody's going to, try to shoot you, stab you, shoot you off, come after you, whatever. Facts. And then it's the other part of you also have production there. So, if people want to get froggy, they can sit here and rob production. And they can have them some equipment that they can, go ahead and pawn and all that other stuff. I'm just saying. So Marie ends up finding her mother. And her mother acts like it's just another day at the park. And though I can appreciate her going after her mother, it was one of those where it did make my heart sink just a little bit, because you can clearly see that her mother is under the influence and she's not looking her best. And it's just, because you never want to see somebody's mom, one, down and out, and then two, not looking favorable, especially when there's cameras and this is national TV. So I did feel bad there. And, Maria's just like, get in the van, let's go. Is right, really trying to get her out of there. And I believe her mom said that her cigarettes are still, in the place. She makes a mention of the cameras and then says to Marie, get in the van and give me $30. I was just like, oh my gosh. The boldness of just and it's the whole I'm your mama, get in the van. Like what? Like it was so sad. It really was. And Marie is just like, okay, well come on, well let's go down here, well let's go to his house. And Lula, which is her mom, is just like, okay, well give me like 20, 30 minutes. And we see on the screen that production pretty much had to, call the scene because after 30 minutes they deemed that area as being unsafe for them to still shoot. No shade or nothing like that. It didn't take me 30 minutes to decipher that, but okay. And if I didn't mention it, when they found her mom, she was at the trap house. That right there should have been enough reason where she's like, but let's go ahead and get on with the get on. Marie said she's not coming back for her mother. Like this is it. And had even made mention where if like her doing this could put her in the grave, and if her mom is still using, her mom is gonna cry over her for one day, and then go back to doing what she's doing. And I mean, unfortunately, that is a sad reality. But when it comes to addiction, I mean, it does have a chokehold on people, So I can appreciate Marie still, going along. Well, actually, she has no choice but to go along with the methadone clinics because she didn't spend the money, but appreciate, her using her mother as motivation for this endeavor. So now we get Latrice and Cliff. He was cutting some trees and ended up cutting himself. Apparently, the cut almost reached down to the bone. When she found out about it, she went and got him and, helped him get some medical treatment. Again, they had not been, in each other's presence or communicating for at least a week, if not more. They agree that between the two of them, they have communication issues. Cliff feels that she talks too much. She feels as if, he talks to her almost as if he's her father. And I'm like, ma'am, let's not forget you also call the man Zaddy now. Again, I don't know how, like I said on the panel, like part of me feels that this is all for a storyline. But whatever, like I'm about to wrap the scene up with this. They talk about, pregnancy, having a child. She does a pregnancy test, there in the bathroom on the sink. How convenient. She goes in, takes it. She's not pregnant, and that's that on that. And that was one of the scenes where I meant to go ahead and give a, like a, I guess, warning or whatever. I forgot to do it. But with the last scene, it's Letitia, Glenn, and I wrote down Dr. Steven. I don't know what his exact title was. And this is another one to where I'm going to say this. In the event this is real, okay, say everything that I'm about to say as if it is real. Though I don't feel that it is real. And based off of how this ended, why the hell is this man still in the opening title with Letitia? Anyway, so Glenn states that with his therapy session, he realizes his faults. And Dr. Stevens says, now that you know, it starts with you. All right. So Dr. Stevens wants to know about, the divide and the disconnect. Now, Glenn says she grew in a different direction, and he took it as she doesn't need him and also neglect. So what he was trying to say is with her doing her business and whatnot, she grew past my liking. She grew, because pretty much as long as she was at a certain point, in essence, it's a matter of control. If we go keep it all the way 1,000, now she has surpassed him. And now he feels that, okay, she doesn't need me. And when he talks about neglect, it's the whole she's giving all her time to her business when, again, if this is true and real, it ain't neglect. It's you needing an excuse to sit here and, tarnish your marriage. I mean, again, let's call a thing a thing. Especially if you have been cheating for years and not just recently. Okay? Letitia says, Glenn is my husband. I will always need him. Dr. Stephen asked Glenn, did you hear what she said? You are the husband and she will always need you. Speaking very definitively, but okay. Then Glenn says he felt she didn't stand by his side when he was suffering. Now, Letitia looked at him like, the wait, well, what? Who, what? So Letitia asks, when did he cry out? Now, Glenn said something and it was muted, so I didn't really catch it. Depression was thrown out there and says, he would have picked up on it if it was her. Though I want to clown him for this, I do understand it. When you're around people long enough, you can tell when things are off, you know what I'm saying? And when they aren't having the best day, you may not know exactly what's going on, but you can tell if there's a shift in their energy. So I can see that at the same exact time, not to diminish whatever he's going through. So you want her to be able to pick up on the fact that you're depressed amongst other things, but you don't want to pick up on the fact that you are putting her in a mess up headspace because you are creating soul ties, creating bonds with other people, then coming back home and then sleeping with your wife. And the fact that she knows this is going on, but trying to sit here and hold on because of the vows that she took, that she cares more about your vows than you do. Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, Letitia says he's been so many people that she doesn't know which Glenn she's going to get. And she doesn't want him to use her weaknesses against her, and she hopes he's not using depression as a way to control her. Again, if all this is real, that's exactly what he's doing. He needs to find some way to reel you back in to make you feel guilty, to be the victim. Not saying that he probably wasn't suffering from depression. And then he even said, well, as men, we're cultivated. He didn't say cultivated, but I'm just, saying it how I want to say it. But pretty much we're cultivated, we're raised, to be a man, even though nobody really tells you how to be a man, but to be a man, suck it up, so all your emotions, this, that, and third, blah, 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 blah. And with that, he wants to use his wife as a therapist. I'm giving him a whole lot here, but I'm going to just say it. Wants to use his wife as a therapist. And here's the thing. Your spouse or your partner, or whomever you're in any type of relationship with, they have certain roles, but certain roles don't belong to them. Like, if you need a therapist, go get you a therapist. If you don't have the money for a therapist, but you belong to a religious institution, then go talk to your spiritual leader. There are things that you can do. But the fact that you want to sit here and put all of that on your wife when you know that you were raised to not tap into these things, so now we're going to use it as an excuse. It was just a whole lot to where I'm like, because I'm a dude and I understand it, it's just like, I call bull, but whatever. So Dr. Steven asks, do you love him? She says yes. He asks, are you in love with him? And she says she doesn't know and is scared to love him. Glenn says he always feel like I will be the same person that hurt her. And he was saying that because, again, trying to play victim and trying to manipulate her. And again, I'm going to say, if this is real, Letitia fell for it and says, I'm here, Glenn. Do I love you? Yes. Okay, let me stop. Do I want to be with you? Yes. And she says, I'm at a place where I love me. I teach women to be the best version of themselves, and I'm now just becoming the best version of myself. Again, he was able to sit here and get to her. And it's just like, not saying that he can't be a victim, but he's trying to be the victim when he has victimized and terrorized his wife. But okay. Glenn moves in and says he's sorry and, she doesn't want to hurt no more. And him closing the gap and everything, again, it's all manipulation of whatnot, trying to sit here and get his foot back in. And Letitia says she is willing to take baby steps, which is all that he needed to hear. So, Dr. Stevens says this is the last time. It's a new trust line. They hug it out. They pray this, that, and the third. The season wraps up. The only thing that I want to mention is we find out that Letitia and Glenn moved back in, and shortly after, she saw that he was still messaging other women. And that's it. That's the review. So I gave y'all the best that I got. I expounded. We almost made 20 minutes, so I think I did good. Okay. So with that being said, again, make sure you catch us on the Whether You Like It or Not panel on Tuesday. We will be at our Really Be TV's home. We'll be discussing this and what appears to be another lackluster with the last part of the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion, which airs tomorrow. tomorrow. But also, you'll be getting Love and Marriage Huntsville from me tomorrow, which will be Sunday morning, and then Monday morning you'll be getting the finale of Real Housewives of Atlanta, and then yeah, Tuesday we'll go right into the panel. So thank you all so much. Thank you all so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will see you all for the next video. Peace.